LONGBOX CRUSADE presents Transformers Chronicles.
Hello and welcome back to Transformers Chronicles. I'm Delvin, aka The Dark Web, and in case you're new to the show, welcome, and let me tell you what this thing is all about. We're going on a wild, crazy ride, chronicling the awesome, wacky, and sometimes seafaring world of Marvel Comics, The Transformers, but I won't be going at it alone. Let's meet my chronicling companions. First up, we have the founder of the LONGBOX CRUSADE, the acolyte to the Transformers world, the seeker of the Matrix of Knowledge. His name is Pat Sampson, sometimes known as DJ Christados. How are you this evening, Pat?
I am doing good, Delvin. I'm just ready to have some talk about the Transformers. Yeah. And you can just call me Christados.
Hi, Christados.
I'm out searching for a big whale.
Well, keep your legs.
Whale of Transformer knowledge.
Keep your legs on the boat. Don't leave them hanging off the boat. You're either on the boat, Pat, or
off of the boat. Yeah.
Stay
better be on the boat. Yeah.
It is better to be on the boat.
Okay.
We're gonna move along. Hopefully, Pat follows that advice. To our Transformers librarian, he's the lesser half of Married with Content. His name is Jonathan Schaefer-Haynes. Jonathan, welcome to the show. How are you this evening?
I am well, Delvin. I was just listening to what Pat was saying and looking at the size of the boat and thinking that we are definitely going to need a bigger boat in order to stop it.
You can make more room, John.
That's what I'm saying.
Come over here and hang your feet over with me.
Oh, that's true. No. Yeah, actually, we got more than enough room, man. We need a much smaller boat.
Absolutely, there will be no hanging of the feet over. Just trust me on this.
All right, John. I'll just sit here with my just obsessive compulsive need to chase down some sort of animal that wronged me.
Oh, that's okay. Just make sure you're true to yourself, because in the end, that's all that matters. And on that bright and cheery note, we will move to the greater half of Married with Content. She's not Daredevil, by the way. Her name is Maggie Schaefer-Haynes. Welcome to the show, Maggie.
Hello again, all of you, and me. Sorry.
Hi, Maggie.
Oh.
Anything grand to tell us besides, me spoiling what t-shirt you have on? Not that the listening audience will be able to see that, but she has on a t-shirt that says, "I'm not Daredevil." And I have to admit, I have my suspicions. But is there anything else, Maggie, that you would like to share with the show?
If I could be any superhero, I think I'd want to be Shazam.
Why?
Because in the movie, the only part of the movie I liked was when Billy jumped off the top of a building and yelled Shazam. I got hit by lightning and turned into him. And I was like, that is what I want to happen. I want that in my life.
I would advise you not
to jump off of buildings, scream a power word into the sky, and then turn into like this magnificent hero.
And like I told you last week when I was hauling you back up, you can't just try and hope it happens.
Yeah, no.
Oh, maybe Maggie, you can just come sit by us, dangle your feet over, and say that word.
There is that.
No.
Not going to do that.
No. John, Maggie, we're not dangling feet.
I'm going to keep my hands and my feet in the boat.
Yes, exactly. And I would be remiss as the host of Come Out to Play, a New Warriors podcast. Maybe you should fling yourself off of a building. It's possible that powers could result. I'm just saying.
Thanks for the advice, Delvin. Right. Super appreciate it.
That's right.
Yeah,
you learn all of our safety rules from comic books, just like all of you should.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So, in summary, keep your hands and feet inside the boat, but feel free to jump off of buildings anytime that you want to. I might be sending mixed messages, and I'll go ahead and say what's going on with me. I got a cold. I have a cold right now, so there's not much inflection in the voice. Blame it on the cold, but just understand that I do this show for the listening audience. I could be sleeping right now. So if you want to send any money, we'll talk about that later. Let's move on. The purpose of this podcast will be tackling all of Marvel's Transformers comics in order, starting with issue 1 and working our way to the series end at issue 80. We are getting close. We will answer any questions that are brought up to the best of our ability and see how these books we loved then as a kid hold up to our eyes as an adult now. This podcast is guaranteed to be, you guessed it, more than meets the eye. So Pat, John, Maggie, let's see what happens when we get just a bit closer to finding the Matrix right after the promo break.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Love him or hate him, everybody's got something to say about John Byrne.
He ruined the X-Men when he left.
That John Byrne, he's a sexist pig.
The only thing bigger than John Byrne's ego is... Oh, wait, there isn't anything bigger than John Byrne's ego.
John Byrne, he just draws the greatest butt on Superman. It looks so good.
John Byrne is the greatest artist I've ever seen. Wait, who is he?
John Byrne's 1986 Man of Steel series gave us the core reimagining of Superman that is still with us today.
Third Degree Byrne, a podcast about all things John Byrne. The good, the bad, and the legendary. Join Tim Elliott and Brian Hughes as they look over the nearly 5 decades body of work of one of the most influential comic book creators in the last 50 years. Third Degree Byrne can be found at twotruefreaks.com and on iTunes.
I got a question, though. I just am curious. Why doesn't Green Lantern have any junk?
We now return to the Transformers.
Welcome back. The issue we'll be covering today is Transformers issue 64, and here is Maggie with the cover description.
Thank you, Delvin. We have Transformers emblazoned across the top of the cover in yellow font with an orange walrus on the back of a boat with a pink spear. It's an interesting color scheme. And then there's this big orange tail coming up out of the water against the boat that the walrus guy is standing on. We've got 2 little bubbles. Who's the guy in the first bubble?
That's Pincher.
Pincher? Okay. And it says, an erase from extinction, and then doubleheader. I know that one because that's a baseball reference. That one I can get. But it says, oh yeah, that's right. It's also in orange font, but it's kind of hard to read. To save Longtooth from himself, his fellow Autobots may just have to kill him. Dun dun dun. Do they?
Well, I mean, like, that would bring forth the dilemma of, if you kill another person to stop them from killing, is that a good thing? You know what? Let's not answer. Let's not answer any of that. Forget that I said that. I want to add a couple of more things, or not one thing. To the top right, it just identifies that it is part 3 of 5 of the Matrix Quest. It also has Optimus Prime just pointing at us in the corner, in the left corner box, like he has for some time now. Maggie described the cover. Let's see. John, you want to talk about it? What you think?
I don't know what I think about this. This is another one of those trying to look like a movie poster of some sort. Definitely like it's trying to evoke an old style monster movie or old comic like that. It's like, see this. And I mean, it's well drawn. The coloring is weird just with the choice of the 2 oranges that presumably Yanto is doing here. But I mean, if he's going to, I don't hate it, but it's just my eyes keep getting drawn to the walrus dude and the tail with the, and the fact that it's a pink harpoon it makes it, I keep forgetting to read the rest of it. So, I mean, covers like this are always interesting. It's good in this case, both to let you know that this is part 3 of something, unless you look on page 1 of it, in which it says it erroneously says part 4.
Yeah, but they blended it in the background. They're like, I hope no one noticed.
It is, in terms of getting people to, pick up this cover that might not be a normal reader. I imagine this, it may have served its purpose in this. It's definitely interesting. It lets you know that the story is going to be a bit offbeat and wacky. Yeah.
Pat,
that's what I think.
What do you think? Do you think what John thinks, or do you think what Pat thinks? That wasn't a good transition.
Well, a little bit of both, I guess. I like what John said is it's that movie poster kind of feel to it. Now that we're 3 in, and that's kind of the themes that they're going with for the last 2. And so I kind of like it. I think it's interesting. it gives you some suspense because I didn't know who that first guy was, or I guess I didn't know who the two-headed guy was either. So I was kind of interested in finding out who they were. But I do kind of like the fishy kind of, obviously this is either it's doing something to Jaws or to, Ishmael, things like that, and I like it. I think you're right that the orange-ness of the tail and the Longtooth guy, Longtooth is his name, kind of stands out a little bit. Your eye kind of catches that. But other than that, I like it.
To be fair, Pat, you wouldn't know who the third guy was either, Pincher, because I was like,
Pincher.
Who the heck is Pincher? Like, I had to look him up.
I still don't know.
I did some very, very, very quick researching before the show started, and I was like, Longtooth, like, I'd never seen him before, and he didn't have much of a history according to TFU.info.
Has he got a figure?
Yes. He is a pretender, a part of Transformers G1. So, like, he was just one of those that just happened to fall through the cracks. And then someone's like, do I want a walking walrus? And just passed on it. So give credit to Simon Furman for still introducing some of the toys.
Yeah.
These are about the last few. The toy line was about done at this point. The comic would continue, but they weren't introducing too many new ones after this.
Well, thankfully they had a good story to continue.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. But before we get to the story, we're still talking cover. Maggie, what do you think about the cover?
I will choose to think that the reason Longtooth and the tail are both colored orange is as like an artistic cue to show that the two of them are related in the story somehow. I know that that's not really what's going on, but that's what I'm going to choose to believe.
Yeah.
I like the cover. I think the action's good. I like how it's all framed. It's very movie poster-ish. The orange Longtooth and the orange tail is kind of odd. And the pink harpoon just makes it look very toyish. But aside from that, it's a rocking cover.
I like the cover myself. And I agree with you. I think that the reason that Longtooth and the whale, which is a clud, is what it's called.
Yeah.
The reason why they're the same color is that they wanted you to know that those things were related for whatever reason. And then sure enough, they did, the full four color, as it were, towards the two Autobots who were tasked to save Longtooth, and we don't know exactly why. Even though, to be fair, he kind of had a justifiable reason for wanting to kill him. Let's. We're not talking about story. Cover, good. I like it. So I guess with that, we should rate it here on Transformers Chronicles. We do that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, like the tech specs of old, to describe what we think about the cover. Let's see. Is anyone just champing at the bit to go first? Does anyone want to really go first? Pat.
I'll go first, yeah. I'll go first because, I'm going to rate this. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give this an 8. Because I kind of like it. It's got a movie poster, but I would rate it higher if this was an album cover for Longtooth and the Whales.
Well, oh, yeah.
That'd be that's a cool album cover if it was for Longtooth and the Whales.
So is the guy named Longtooth, or is it like Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah, just like that, yeah.
No.
Who's Hootie and who's the Blowfish? You never know.
Right. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. John.
And the thing is, they play a lot of Pretender songs.
And I would swim.
I didn't want that to work, and it did. John, save us from Pat shenanigans, please.
No, sorry, I forgot everything I was going to say for the rest of the episode after that. All right, hang on. I'm going to give this, it's a 6 for me. It's a high 6.
What's a high 6?
Well, I mean, 5 is average on this, and average is not bad. This is better than that. It does not approach for me some of the greater ones we got. It's interesting. It's memorable. The color scheme is a little odd and probably dragged it down a little bit. And plus, Sea Spray is not here. You finally get to do a ocean thing, and Sea Spray is not here.
Is Sea Spray the one that goes, and away we go?
No, that would be Power Glide, who is also not here.
Isn't there also one, though, called Beachcomber?
Yes.
He would be in the story.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All of the lack of all three of those are contributing to my rating.
The reason that they're not here, John, is because Starscream destroyed them in issue 50 off panel.
Too soon.
And
off panel, clearly. Like
actually, I think one of them, some of those might actually been on panel just to die, because I remember Beachcomber in particular.
Oh, really?
Yes. But we all know how I feel about that issue, so I'm protesting it and demanding that they show up until they do.
I don't care that they're dead. I want them in my story.
So, like, you guys are on the same mic. I would ask you to protest and mute, John, but protest in your head while Maggie rates the cover.
I'll give it one better. I'll give it a 7, because it is definitely better than average. If the orange stuff really was like intentional to show that the two figures are going to be related in the story, that's pretty cool. The neon pink and the yellow and the black, I like the color of the wall. I think 7's all right. 7 makes me feel good. 7 feels appropriate.
Okay. And with Pat, I give it an 8. I think it's a good cover. I think it's inventive. I think it's fun. I think that I don't know whether or not it would get any new Transformers people to like come on board, but I can say that if I were a Transformers fan, and I looked at this, I was like, oh, it's interesting. So I think it's interesting. I think it's a good cover, well drawn, not by the person that I thought drew it. I thought Jose Delbo drew it, but he did not, apparently. So we're about to find out who did, though, because here comes Pat with the cover credits for the issue.
All right, Delvin, thank you. I am glad you asked. We will be covering Transformers issue number 64. Its on sale date was January 23rd of 1990.
No more 89. Sorry.
89. I know. I was waiting for it.
It was a good run, Pat. It
was. Cover date is March of 1990. Its cover price is $1. The story is by Simon Furman. Penciler is Jose Delbo. Inks go to Dan Reed, L. Williams, with credits on pages 1 through 4. And colors go to Nelson Yamtov. The letters are done by Jim Massara. Editor is Don Daly. And the cover goes to Ian Aiken. And that's all brought to you by Mike's Amazing World and tfwiki.net.
I mean, is it me, or does this cover like a Jose Delbo cover?
I thought the art was good.
It is good. And Ian Aiken drew a cover before, and the cover was fine. But for some reason, like, I didn't believe it. And I went and looked on Google, and AI said, no, Delvin, it's Ian Aiken. And I'm like, how did you know my name? That's creepy. But Ian Aiken it is. So kudos to Ian Aiken for a very inventive cover. And let's get right to the synopsis.
It is a world transformed, where things are not what they seem. It is the world of the Transformers.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. Transformers.
The Transformers from Marvel Comics.
The title of this issue was Deadly Obsession. We are at part 3 of the Matrix quest, where so far we have had a classic detective movie story and a classic Western story, kind of, sort of. So let's do a classic novel now, Moby Dick. Hey, John, I got this one all by myself. Let's tell this one in order because the story jumped all over the place. It looks like a scientist in a spacecraft from another planet fell to the waters of planet Pequod. A creature called the Clud, on its last legs, consumes the spacecraft. That craft was awash with Matrix energy, and it revives the Clud. The Autobots, Longtooth, Pincher, and Doubleheader arrive on Pequod to hear about this miraculous tale and go searching. Longtooth loses a leg in the attempt, driving him crazy and sending him on a quest to kill the Clud. Just as Longtooth is about to succeed, the Decepticons enter the fray. Thunderwing, who has been ahead of the game this whole time, we find out has an affinity to the Matrix itself and feels that it is time for the Matrix to be held in Decepticon hands. he needed the Clud alive so that he could gain intel on where the Matrix is and succeeds in doing so. But the Decepticons along for the chase with him are growing in their unrest. The Autobots barely survived this conflict with the Decepticons, but they did save Longtooth from making a mistake from which he may have never recovered. So let's talk about the book. On Transformers Chronicles, we take turns bringing up something from the comic, starting with but not limited to goods and bads. We discuss it. Let's see. Pat, start us off. What do you want to say about this comic book?
I've never read Moby Dick, but I've always heard of the stories, or,
same.
Of the how the tale goes a little bit. And so I thought it was good. I thought this one was... I like this one kind of better than the Western one. This one seemed a little more action-y, and there was a lot more characteristic-y stuff going on with Thunderwing.
Yeah, we learned a few interesting things about Thunderwing, didn't we? Because before the first 2 issues of Matrix Quest, we found out that Thunderwing wants the Matrix. I mean, seemingly a Decepticon enough thing. But now we find out that he's kind of connected to the Matrix. And that is, and if you think about it, to me, that makes sense too. Because if Primus created all of the Transformers in his image, then it would make sense that even though they split off into 2 factions, that maybe some of the Decepticons would have an affinity to the Matrix too. It wouldn't always be Autobots. To me, I thought that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Thunderwing kind of, has his affinity to the Matrix and wanted to find out where it is, and he found out where it is. But there's a lot more to the story. Let's go to Maggie. Maggie, what do you have to say?
That it occurs to me that Longtooth is Captain Hook. Does anyone know? Because I have also never read Moby Dick, but everybody knows. Call me Ishmael.
He's Ahab.
Captain. What did I say?
Hook.
No. Well, yeah, but that's what I was going to ask. Does Captain Ahab lose a leg or an arm to Moby Dick too?
Yeah, and leg.
Okay, so then Captain Hook is an Ahab allegory.
Yes.
But all I could think of was Peter Pan. Because I've never read Moby Dick. I'm so cultured.
But you're not alone.
Also, Thunderwing, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's like Megatron, but without the charm.
Yes.
It really is.
That's pretty good. And I think on purpose, I think he is meant to be as flawed in the way that we see him. That's just my guess. I'll talk more about that later.
Before we recorded, I read the first 2 issues of the Matrix series here, and I was like, wow, this guy is coming on real strong. What's his problem?
Yeah, we find out why in this one.
Not even Megatron is this caffeinated. What's happening here?
And sure enough, he did have a Megatron moment too. And Ruckus had a Starscream moment, because Ruckus is like, I think what you're doing is dumb. And Thunderwing is like, I think you're about to take this backhand.
Basically.
Dang.
Very abusive relationships amongst the Decepticon ranks.
Yeah, then turned around and asked, I was like, to another Decepticon, was like, you got something to say too? Like, nope, I'm good.
I know. I've always believed in the conservation of animals.
Yes.
I'm fine with this.
Yep. Thunderwing, Megatron from Temu. That's what we got. And but he's got an affinity to the Matrix. So there's that. John, what do you have to add to this tale that we're weaving?
Well, I commend you, Delvin, for recognizing the Moby Dick allegory to this, which is
thank you.
It's pretty spot on. There are some lines that are right out of it. If you don't know from Moby Dick, just watch Star Trek 2, and Khan, the antagonist in this, decides to identify with the guy who famously gets killed via his revenge right before he gets killed via his revenge. But also, I should add, not only is it Moby Dick, it's actually more Jaws. The plot, the boat looks like, it's the Orca, which is what it's called on page 1. If you look at,
Orca down there.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the boat from Jaws? It's been a very long time.
Yes, and the guy from Jaws is definitely meant to be an Ahab allegory again, which I did not realize until reading this comic tonight. Okay. So all of this, but Yeah, that's basically, they take, get the reward, him compromising himself and getting over. But this is it's like the Disney-fied version of Moby Dick or Jaws, in which at the last second the protagonist realizes the error of their ways and corrects the actions. So kudos to you.
In that, I never read Moby Dick. Did they wind up killing the whale in Moby Dick?
They did not.
On the same question.
No one. Don't worry, guys. No one has read Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Nobody, except for
our one friend
Sebastian.
Yes,
who has read it. Because anyone else who figured that would get 3 pages in, it's like, what is this? Why am I learning so much about whaling? I'm done.
Isn't it about the evils of whaling?
A bit. It's the part that everybody knows that's usually adapted about Ahab and the obsession. Mm-hmm. That is a very small part of the book. It's an the majority of the book is about other things, other very, very, very dull things. It's about 500 pages long. If you ever wanted to learn about how whaling went down in the 1800s in vivid, disgusting detail, well, do I have a classical work of literature for you? But so Furman, wisely went more with Jaws than with Moby Dick. But it's pretty simple because that is a pretty simple story. It's like, Moby Dick cut off my leg. I'm going to kill him. And they're like, are you sure about that? It's a whale that was mean enough to actually cut off your leg and sink your ship, and you survived. You should be happy. Nope. I'm going to do that. Even I have to sink the entire lot of you, which he then does. His obsession kills his entire ship, and only Ishmael, the one telling the story, and Queequeg, the dog from X-Files. Yes, Queequeg, the dog from X-Files. Queequeg, the racial stereotype. The two of them lived to tell the tale, and years would go down, and then this story would be written, and now we know.
I'm grateful that the story that we read wasn't 500 pages long, because back then that would have cost a fortune.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it would have been like $8, $9. Like I couldn't have afforded that. I was a kid.
Who's got $10 in 1990?
It'd be like having to buy a Savage Sword of Conan, for gosh sake.
Right. Like, $10 in 1990 roughly translates to $2.5 billion now.
Yes, exactly.
All of that said, Pat, what do you have to add to whatever the hell we're talking about?
I don't know. We're getting classical literature lessons from John.
Getting literature, getting the movies, getting bad economic advice from
solidifying why I'm not going to read that book. It's like, okay, I don't need to read that one.
Nope.
The artwork in this was great. I think Jose Delbo really did a great job with all that he had to draw in this. And I think that helped really tell the story as well. I like the paneling that was done, especially when they were kind of going back and forth in between the time, like, previously, and we were thinking this, and then kind of just filling in the story that way that they did it was really good. Honestly. And the artwork helped with it.
Have any of you ever read a comic that had this many flashbacks in it? There's a flashback within a flashback. Technically, 2 flashbacks within a flashback.
They definitely were jumping in the timeline. And I guess, if you think about it, I have done how many, 60 some odd write-ups for Transformers comic books, right? Mm-hmm. And if they would have just told this story straightforward like I did, it wouldn't have taken long at all, right?
Right.
And it wouldn't have been as interesting. So I think that it was pretty good how Simon kind of took the story and kind of told it a little bit out of order, because it added just enough of an intrigue that you needed for it, in my opinion. One more other thing I wanted to add, Jose Delbo, I've already talked about how much I appreciate his artwork, and I've really enjoyed going back to revisit his stuff. I was not the hugest fan of the inks for Dan Reed. I thought he went heavy. I thought it was just too heavy, especially for Jose Delbo's style. Jose Delbo's style is more cartoonish to me, And so I would imagine that you would add the heavy inks, like for instance, like I think they intentionally made it dark when the Clud came up and bit off Longtooth's leg, and like because they didn't want necessarily for that to look as gory as it possibly could have. And then I also think that they kind of just took a few liberties as well with like the Clud, because I sort of have questions. It's like this thing looks like it's organic, but there's some robotic parts to it, and everything is like, how does that function in the water? Like, who procreates to create the Clud? Like,
who made this thing?
And a whale.
It was naturally occurring whales and polar.
Yeah, it's like like when Metroplex loves a whale very, very much.
Oh my God! Trypticons got into the bad energy.
or was it more of a whale until it got some of the Matrix in it?
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
Did the Matrix make it a robot-y?
That is a very good point. That's a very good point.
The Clud or the Cud or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe that's why it got in.
I think. Good job, Pat.
It could be. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I declare it canon. It's canon.
Okay.
I would just like
put
to
the
add,
librarian stamp on it. Boom. Canon. But
what's up, Maggie? What would you like to add?
The art I thought did I don't know. This seems like a very obvious thing to say on a comic book podcast, but that the art did a good job of helping to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like the art and what's happening don't always match very well, or it gets things muddled and confusing. And there are a lot of things going on in this issue, and in all of them, because there's like multiple groups of people hunting for the Matrix, and there's a lot to keep track of and a lot going on. And I think with those kinds of stories, that makes the art even more important to keep things clear, and that's what I wanted to contribute.
I agree with you on this. Comic books have so many unique ways in which to visually tell a story and to be able to show flashbacks, and it's always interesting to, whenever a comic does a flashback, it happens quite a bit, to see how they're going to do it. And often sometimes they'll use a different art style, different artist, and this one just goes to the Moby Dick / Jaws writings on the kind of the narration box things.
Yeah, in the fancy script.
Yes, then we know. And then I thought about
yes.
And it didn't get in the way.
It did not. I think it helped. I think it helped it. Like you even said, I think without it, this would have been an average issue at best.
Yeah, it kind of helped to solidify the Moby Dick. Moby Dickishness.
That'd be a great name. Moby Dickish would be a great name for a band.
Oh boy.
It could be a. Go ahead, Maggie.
Timey like that is gonna make, because Moby Dick is old timey, and like the fancy script is old timey, and it could have, I think, come across as like a gimmick. But I agree that I actually think that it kind of just helped add to, if you're going to go for it, like if you're going to do these as a series of whatever.
The flavor to it, yeah.
Yeah, then go all in. If you're going to make everyone a different genre, then do it, So I thought it was good.
And what I want to add as well is I think Pat, it may have been Pat or Maggie, was like, didn't know who one of the characters were, hadn't seen it. It was Pat. And it was a doubleheader. We've seen Doubleheader once before. I had to remind myself of it because he was one of the people guarding, like he was at the panel or whatever when the Decepticons burst in, Bludgeon and his crew burst in. Doubleheader was a part of that, but that's the only time that we've seen him.
Okay.
And we haven't seen the other ones. And so that's yet another reason why, to me, this is a bold choice by Simon Furman. Like, none of the Autobots or Decepticons in this book are well known.
Yeah, right.
Right? And the story was good enough, and there was enough bells and whistles with the story. Let's kind of go with the old timey Moby Dick. Let's go with movie classic and Jaws. And then we'll throw a few kind of unknown Decepticons, kind of unknown Autobots in the mix. And voila, we got part 3 of 5 of the story. And it wasn't throwaway either. There was a pretty big reveal here, and what we found out about Thunderwing, and not only what we found out about Thunderwing, but also where the Matrix is. Thunderwing now knows where it is. And so, like, that's kind of a big reveal. Looks like next issue we might be seeing like Thunderwing get the Matrix. Maybe I don't know. Like, any thoughts about that? Like, does that seem like a thing that's likely to happen?
That it genuinely gave me anxiety when I got to the end of the story because I'm like, why do the Autobots always lose? Why does the bad guy figure he taps into the Force and he figures out where the Matrix is? Like, why can't? Oh, but Optimus is kind of doing his own thing too, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's going through some weird.
He's got to do
quest.
it. Yeah, his brooding, time has to.
That's how. Maybe he broods to the Matrix.
Maybe. And I wish I remember how Optimus Prime plays a factor in this. Clearly he is. It's the Matrix. The Matrix, as far as we know, and Optimus Prime, are like peas and carrots. So, right, he's going to factor into the story somehow. And they made it a point because Simon's a great storyteller. It seems like we've already figured that out. Last issue, he says, he sort of like Optimus Prime sort of goes and looks into like the Matrix itself, like what's going on? Where are you? And just kind of got this feeling of impending doom for all of it. And also mentioned as well that something about the Matrix is off.
Seems a bit off, he thought. Prime was wondering if it would be a good idea or not.
Yeah, if they find it, he's like, I don't even know if we're going to be better off than if we didn't, essentially. Although I thought it was really, really funny when who's the guy that keeps popping up on the screen to tell the audience why they're hunting down the Matrix. He's talking to Prime, and he's like, well, I kind of thought it'd be easy finding the Guardian of the Matrix and all. And Prime's response is, yeah, it would have been if I hadn't been shot into space. I thought that was really funny. Like, that's true. That did happen to him.
It's like, you realize your plan is to just send a bunch of Autobots off in a search pattern in space, right?
We narrowed it down to one star system.
It's the allegory system. I did want to say before I forgot, I think Maggie had said this before. Great. I may have forgotten already. Oh, no, you said it before. All the three of these stories so far have all involved a huge misconception.
Something being not what it seems.
Or more than meets the eye, as you will.
There you go.
But it's like in all three of the ones that you go into it and everybody thinks one thing is happening, and then very dramatically you find out the reverse is true.
Yeah, in the first one, it's the Maltese Falcon, which I have seen, but it's been a very long time. But the bird was the life force thing that everyone was looking for. And then in the second one, the nice-ish family turned out to be a not nice family. They were gross little vampire creeps. And then, so that was making me wonder if the reveal was going to be that the Matrix was actually something kind of hidden in plain sight, but it doesn't look like what they expect it to look like.
We'll find that out. Or if, like Delvin was hinting at, like what Prime was saying about how Prime's worried that the Matrix might not even be what it seems, what they think it is.
He says where they're going. He says, like, I was going to say one of Kirk Cameron's moons. I think it's like Cameron was the name of the planet or something.
And the planet is like VSQS. Viscous, maybe?
Oh, Viscous. The first one was Pizzazz, and then it was Cheyenne, and then Pequod was the...
Pequod, Moby Dick
which
ship.
Is from Moby Dick. And then, so Viscous. I wonder what that's going to be. Gross, probably.
I don't remember how this one ends at all, and I'm excited.
Cool.
Well, I will add this, because I just happened to be pulling up the cover of 64, because I'm about to read it, and 65, I kind of peeked his head off and looked, and I was like, oh, that is a fantastic cover. And it says pretty much everything that it's going to answer some questions, I guess, because this thing is the Matrix Quest, right?
Oh.
John just looked at the cover. Yeah, don't show Maggie. Presumably, at the end of the Matrix Quest, we're going to see the Matrix, right?
The Keanu Reeves movie?
I would hope so.
We can all go watch the Matrix.
The Keanu Reeves movie has not come out yet, Maggie.
Just the first one.
Not that.
No, it's talking about that one thing in Doctor Who where all of the Time Lords.
We're definitely not talking about Doctor Who either. And keep your feet in the boat. We're going to see the Matrix. That'll at least logically make sense, right? But the only hint that we have, and Maggie teed this up perfectly for me, is that maybe there's more than meets the eye here. Like, because the Matrix is this, I don't know, pure thing of light, and it shines light and hope into everything. And maybe that's not what the Matrix is at all.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Was this Matrix the same thing that got into the kid's head?
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't work out well for him.
No.
But he's a human, so I think we kind of just took it for granted. Well, of course it wouldn't work well. He's not a Transformer. But now it kind of seems like there's probably more to. I think it's going to be more nuanced than we think it is. Because Simon Furman has a much, I don't want to say, kind of a more mature way of writing the story. His choice of words and slightly.
I would say he's writing for a slightly older target audience than.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm wondering where he's going to go with this, and I'm actually kind of having fun at like trying to piece it together a little bit.
So Pat, you've been kind of quiet, but you usually have good insights on things like this. You have good precognitive abilities.
Yeah.
At times, what do you think we're going to see in the Matrix? Have you peeked ahead, by the way? Have you peeked ahead?
No, I haven't. I mean, I may have glanced, but I don't remember it just because I couldn't tell you what it is right now from what the next cover is. But is it about maybe it's about a guy who's a wrestler and he's not doing too well, but he wants to get a little bit better at it. And so he kind of teams up with Madonna and they go on some sort of like a vision quest to get better.
I don't want to ask.
I'm trying. Wait,
it's the Matrix Quest and Vision Quest.
Oh, Vision. Oh, that I never saw that one.
I don't know what.
All right, whatever.
Vision Quest. Vision Quest, yeah, it was a movie with Madonna and another guy. I think the guy was like a wrestler, and he was.
I know Vision Quest was a wrestling movie. I had no idea Madonna was in it. You know, I've only watched 8 movies, Pat.
Well, I think she was. Yeah. Anyway, that joke went from nowhere. So
it's okay. Like you're still coasting. Off of
I think
joke though.
Yeah.
So
I think that Prime is going to let this guy find it. Why not let this guy do all your work for you? And then once he finds it through the matrixy tingle that he has, he's going to know that someone found it and know where it is now, so that he can just go after it and slap the guy around and get it back.
Even if he didn't plan to do that, it's probably what he'll do anyway, because Prime is very, very passive half the time, and he's like, oh, should I go? Well, that guy, he's right there. I better, but, I have to think about this.
I just kind of love the idea that they'd have like this really complicated plan for how to get it away, and then it just turns into a free-for-all.
It just turns up.
Yeah. I'm interested. I don't know exactly how this turns out. So I am just as intrigued as you are, but I think the most intriguing wrinkle for me was that Thunderwing has an affinity to the Matrix itself. Yes. Because that seemed to have been something that had only been reserved for Autobots. So I'll ask this question, and we can actually move on after this, because I think we've covered everything. John, in later iterations of the Transformers, were there other Decepticons that wound up having an affinity to the Matrix?
I was trying to think. Not so much that I can think of. The first time I could really think that Decepticons ever had anything to do with the Matrix would be this then. But besides that, not until Transformers 1 did, Megatron wound up. I know Thunderwing. There are a lot of them that have a more mystical sort of outlook. I know Jyaxis and Bludgeon wind up in phase 2 doing some stuff that there's like other universes and mystical stuff, but the Matrix itself, I found it was pretty intriguing. Because Megatron never really, the only other Decepticon we've ever seen who's given a crap about the Matrix is Shockwave, because he wanted to use it to make more Decepticons. But other than that, it didn't seem like anything anyone else was really after, which seems odd.
Yeah, and no one would even say that Shockwave had an affinity for it.
No,
he just knew to go after Optimus Prime and separate his head from his body.
It was a tool for Shockwave. He just wanted to use it for what it was for. But definitely, this guy's he's got more of a connection to it. He said.
And just before we move on as well, I looked up Vision Quest on IMDb.com because I couldn't help it. Madonna was the singer at the club. I don't know if she had like a huge role.
No, she was the bigger. Well, anyway.
You blew it, Pat. You blew it. I just I'm disgusted with you. I'm going to move on from my disgust, though, to talk about Who Had the Touch, where we talk about which character in the book stood out the most. Autobot, Decepticon, Clud, Madonna, who knows? Let's see. Maggie, would you like to go first? Who had the touch to you? I don't know either. I'm going to be honest with you.
Part of the problem, I think, is that there's a large cast of characters. And I do kind of just want to give it to Doubleheader because I like how he talks about himself. For once, I agree with me. I just thought it was really clever. And or like to refer to the two heads both as me, myself, and I instead of him and him, which I thought was kind of interesting. And he's like, he was talking to some other Transformer. He's like, no, I'm right. After the first head talked, the second head said, I'm right. And I just thought it was kind of clever.
That is true. Usually, whenever they have a two-headed thing, it turns out having two personalities that hate each other. But these two were both on the same page.
Either that or it has to kind of almost go to the Clud because that poor thing didn't do anything except have a snack that made it feel better. And then everyone wanted it for something. What did it happen to it at the end of the story? I don't remember. Did it die?
No, it lived.
No.
It swims off.
Let's let it go.
Like, just knowing that you're free, my friend, is everything I need to know or whatever.
It's good enough for me.
It's good enough for me. Yeah, that's right.
Good enough.
So I think it was Pincher. Pincher is the one that talked Longtooth down from the fence. They really played up the whole, Autobots consider all life sacred, and for you to just go after this thing for revenge, and it's the last of its kind, it's a terrible thing. So I'll buy into that. Like I thought it was a little oversold, but at the same time, it's like we are the good guys here. Like yes, we went after this creature in its domain. Like so, you lost a leg, bro. You kind of gotta live with it. So. Yeah.
You're a robot. You can get that back.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a good point. He can just replace that.
Talk to Bumblebee / Goldbug for a while. You think
everybody pulled apart or whatever.
Like how many times has he been blown up?
Yeah, Bumblebee has never gone after arg, I hate all military. Yeah, that would be bad. That'd be bad for me. I'd have to look out for it. Pat, who had the touch to you?
I'm going to go with Thunderwing. He's got that crazy touch. He cray now. He's the cray one.
You can't turn your back on Grimlock so quickly.
What? No, I'm not. I think Grimlock's getting, a bunch of he's getting the cray party together.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see Grimlock next issue. That's we are. That is what the end teaser said, that we're going to see the original Pretenders.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right.
So we're going to see Bumblebee, we're going to see Grimlock, we're going to see Jazz. So it's going to be good. John, who had the touch to you, sir?
I'm going to step with Pat and also say Thunderwing, just because he really intrigued me in this one. And I think the fact that just his connection with the Matrix, which is in a different way than we've seen, even Optimus interact with it before, is kind of interesting, and I want to see where that goes. And he's being driven by this, what he definitely feels is a religious quest, and he's following his spark, as it were, towards it. So the people around him are clearly think that he may be going crazy, but they're with him for now. It remains to be seen. Is he on a holy mission, or is he a crazy zealot? We will find out within the next couple issues.
Or maybe both. But we're definitely going to find out. I do like this ascension of Thunderwing. You had Simon bring him in, and first he was kind of just, they described him as a commander. You're not going to be a Decepticon commander unless you're very, very strong, or a winged bat. I don't know. But essentially, if you're really, really strong, you have to be a Decepticon, to be a Decepticon leader. And so he was sitting there looking all powerful, but sure enough, he's developed a few layers, so not quite Teemu Megatron, but maybe Wish.com Megatron. Let's go with that. If we have talked about the touch, then someone had to be out of touch. We talked about the character that was the worst in the book and should get in a small wooden boat in the middle of the water to find an enormous beast of a sea creature. And what are you going to do if you find him? In the segment called Less Than Meets the Eye. I just thought that was dumb. Like, oh, we're gonna go find this big whale. Like, why? Why are you gonna go find the big?
That's a very good question. Well, we don't have anything to do on this planet.
Right. I guess not, except find.
They said Prime said to go, look, or whoever sent them to, go look for some odd stuff because that might be what we're looking for.
No, not the Transformers. The Transformers I totally get. I'm talking about just the average Pequodian jumping in the water to find like the whale. That was just dumb.
Just sitting with each other going, "Yar, does it look like the big old whale looks a bit more cybernetic to you today?" And he said, "Yar, I don't know if it is, but I shall be keeping me eye on it." Of course you will. You only got the one eye.
Yes.
I get the feeling that you bring out that pirate impression a lot, John. John, would you mind telling me, though, who was less than meets the eye to you?
What we'll say Crankcase. Yeah, right. That's what nobody's really terribly bad in Crankcase is the like one of the guys who's along with them, and of all the people he's decided to emulate, he's picked Starscream apparently because all he does is mouth off to Thunder.
Oh, he's the guy that got. He's got a guy that
Rocket.
Got
Yeah. You see, this is what I'm sticking with my answer. He's so unforgettable that he doesn't appear anywhere. He's not even in the issue. He's in this Transformers universe thing right here. Afterwards, and he looks like
Ruckus isn't a bad choice.
Yeah, Ruckus I'm going to pick because just everybody else was pretty great. Even the guy even the Walrus guy, Longtooth, who I could essentially pick. He made the right choice in the end. Which
he made. I can agree with that. I mean, it was just funny to me to see Ruckus get the crap. Classic Starscream beat too, and then they even made it when I can't remember the other Decepticon where Thunderwing turns to him and was like, "You got anything to say?" They actually he looks back and you see Ruckus in the background.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So let's go. I'll go 2 for 2 on Ruckus. Pat, what do you have? Who was less than meets the eye to you?
I was going to say the Longtooth. I thought it was like, dude, like I said, you can get a new leg. You don't need to go chasing this whale or whatever this thing is because, fly back in the ship and go and just say, hey, we found something, but we got to fix my leg. We'll go back later and do something.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I never want to lose a leg and have it replaced to see how it feels, though. Even though I'm not a robot, though. I'm not a robot. Who knows? Anyway, I don't want to get into existential questions in that it would cause me to, talk more with this cold. Maggie, wrap us up. Who was less than meets the eye to you?
I was going to give it to Longtooth, too. In the second issue, they at least had the emotional vampires, which were making them forget why they were there, what they were actually doing, and they were kind of getting lulled into this dream that they wanted of peace. That does not happen on this planet. This guy got his leg bit off and just went insane.
Just flipped,
Really, and again, he could have just called Ratchet, and Ratchet would have fixed him up. He would have been just fine.
Ratchet. Not Ratchet.
Not right now.
Dead?
Well, Ratchet. Yeah.
What do you mean? Not right now, John? He's dead, and he's never coming back.
Never coming back. He is spread
until the 2000s.
He is spread between the worlds and the space bridge where he and Spanner.
No, not he and Spanner.
Back in issue 59.
Yeah.
Ratchet sacrificed his life and pushed Megatron on a bunch of explosions.
Yeah, that's right.
Right in front of the transdimensional portal. So
that's right. Oh, and what an epic sacrifice that was.
All of those three things, we shouldn't put them all together and draw conclusions. They just all happen to be happening at the same time.
Anyhow,
Complosion, 2 robots really close together on the explosion and the transdimensional portal.
They're dead, John.
That's why I'm explaining how dead they are. That's pretty dead.
Longtooth like showed up on this planet as a perfectly sane, reasonable. I imagine him with kind of a posh British accent, where like that thing on his eye wasn't quite so much like a crosshairs, but more of a monocle. As soon as his leg
Like
gets
a Mr. Peanut.
we have to make it away."
It's like him.
Like he goes full sea captain.
Just like Captain Ahab before, where it's just as I say, this waiting thing is spot on like me, God.
He said he didn't want to even go. He was like, "Why are we doing this? This is stupid."
Yeah.
And then and then next thing you know, he's
right.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I walked out of the house with 4 appendages and I came back with 3, I might be mad at the person that took said.
Sure.
I keep drawing us off track. I'm the draw off tracker today. I apologize, everyone. Let's go to ratings for the book. Let's do that. Let me host the show and rate the book 1 to 10. I haven't gone first yet. I thought it was a good story. It was a good story. It's the midpoint 3 of 5 of the Matrix quest, and it feels like it's in the right way. It's just getting started. We had kind of they looked, found a Matrix like thing, but it wasn't a Matrix, and then they just struck out completely, and now they finally got a bite, but we don't know what's gonna be happening. Like we know where the Matrix is, but what's gonna happen? I'm looking forward to it. It's been a good story so far. It gets a solid 8 from me. I'll pass it to Maggie. Maggie, what would you rate Transformers 64?
I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's solidly good and entertaining, and it is kind of a fun cross between Jaws and Moby Dick, and it's an entertaining story. The art was really good throughout it. I think the cliffhanger at the end with the bad guy figuring out where the MacGuffin is great, because like I said, that made me a little anxious when the Autobots are constantly losing. So yeah, I'll give it a solid 8.
John, what do you got?
I'll give it a 7. Just I'm generally agreeing the same way to you. It is solidly good. It's not even, by giving it a 7, I'm not saying it's lackluster. I'm just saying it's not quite an 8. But I did enjoy it. It serves its purpose. It intrigues me. Actually, this is the first one of these I can say that I'm actually can be said to be interested in. They've been fun up to this point, but it really hasn't been doing much so far, and now this seems to be like all of the loose threads are connecting and pushing forward towards. And I think it's going to be what.
If anything that it's done, the person that has the biggest character arc so far is Thunderwing.
Yeah.
Thunderwing has gone just a little bit more obsessive with this Matrix thing, but at least we know why. We now But they kind of said at the beginning on part 1 of this, he was like, uncalculated power.
Right.
I mean, and that's Decepticon enough, but there seems to be a more personal interest that he has in it. And that I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. There's a little bit more depth. Maybe not, Wish.com. Maybe he's more like, like eBay. Megatron. I'm glad I thought of another shopping app to complete the trifecta. Pat, what would you rate Transformers 64?
I'm at an 8, just like on the cover. I thought it was very good. I think John is right that it's a lot more was happening character-wise, I think, compared to the last 2 issues. So this one felt more together than the other 2. And I am interested in where this goes from here.
Me too. I'm very interested. I know 75. I know about Transformers 75, but we're 10 issues away from there, and there's some fun things that have to happen in order for us to get there. So I'm really excited about what's coming up. And with that, we will go to a promo break.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
I'm scaling this wall just as easily as I can walk. My fingers alone are adhering, supporting me.
The Amazing Spider-Man, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, has conquered every medium, from newspaper strips to the silver screen. But he began his life in a pulp periodical destined for cancellation. Let's explore these beginnings together. The Amazing Spider-Man from the very beginning. a brand new podcast on Spotify.
There's some sort of danger here, but what?
We now return to the Transformers.
Now is the time for transmissions, where we heap praise upon the audience for listening to us. We're going to talk about Chronicles episode 60, where we discuss Transformers issue 60. We had social media shares and retweets from G.I. Gary, Coffee and Comics, the lovely Deborah Smith, Jim Meal, who's probably as equally lovely in his own way, and Alan E. Boyce Jr., and we had quite a few comments as well. Who wants to start us off?
I do, because I like this first one. Wait, it's Iman, right? I'm trying to see the...
Yeah, looks like it's Iman to me.
Yeah. Your passion for the subjects you cover is so inspiring. I think that's very sweet.
I mean, that's just darling. I don't even have any thing witty to say.
Right on.
Yeah. I really appreciate that.
I'll grab this next one with the Spotify comment from Scotty Cameron. Great episode. Man, Hot Rod has a really bad habit of trying to get Optimus killed unwittingly. I hope Optimus Prime doesn't appear in Void Rivals. Oh, well, that's the thing, though. If he's trying to get him killed, by definition, he's not doing so unwillingly. So check and mate there, Scotty Cameron.
You know what? I have not read Void Rivals. I wandered into Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. The big comic book store here in Charlotte. They put on Heroes Con every year, and wound up having a good conversation with a guy there. I believe his name was Will. And I picked up a random issue of Void Rivals that I have not read yet, but I hear that Void Rivals is very good. And now I kind of have a hint as to what Void Rivals is about.
Yeah, I haven't. I actually haven't read it. I've thumbed through a number of them, and I know what happens in them, and I'm intrigued as well. But I'm so behind on all of the new Transformers stuff, and it's all really good.
I think I'm a month or so behind in Transformers, and it still has been good. And I know Daniel Warren Johnson is going to be leaving the book, but Robert Kirkman is coming onto the book.
I know.
To write Transformers? What? What? I'm so freaking excited. Anyway, Pat, next comment, please.
Our next one is from Bot Boy Versus, and he says, strong arm, robot head, thumbs up.
I like what he's saying there.
Robot.
Yeah, he's right.
So astute.
I would have said robot head thumbs down, but now I have to think about it.
That's really cool. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
And while we are thinking about it, there's more. We're also going to talk about Chronicles 61, where we discuss Transformers issue 61, and a thank you to the shares and retweets from G.I. Gary, Coffee and Comics, and Kirk Spencer. Maggie, would you like to read the first comment here?
Can I? Where is it?
The
G.I. Gary one?
Yeah.
Please.
Great show as always. This is my new favorite issue. Well, that's kind of cool. I wasn't on this one, I imagine. Wait, I don't remember. Who am I?
You're Maggie.
That's right. But I think it's really cool that if somebody is listening to the podcast, that the conversations that are had on this podcast can influence people's opinions on things like from their childhood, things that they haven't read in a long time, or for first-time comers to Transformers. I think that's really sweet. I think that's awesome.
And you weren't on that one. It was me, John, and Pat. And it was John. Like, John was super excited about it. He was like, I didn't think this one was going to come up for a while.
That was very exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. So I just did our own personal previously on Transformers Chronicles. I'm quite proud. John, you are up, sir.
Some guy named Gerard Albrecht, the yard sale artist, has stopped by to let us know. As I understand it, all these robots are in some kind of disguise. That's pretty deep. That's pretty deep there, Mr. Albright.
I was going to say, you used to call
I for months. I didn't know.
Is that what you did, John?
He knows what he did.
I know. Something that
maybe what he did, but yeah.
That's something that we have in common. We can't pronounce people's last names correct.
I'll take the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's from Bot Boy Versus, and he says, strong arm, robot face, thumbs up.
Oh, man.
It's even better the second time.
You know, I wasn't really on board before, but now
He's persuaded me.
I am. I mean, it's all right there.
He's 100% correct.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. The fact that Pat got to read both of those and it was unplanned made it even better. Next comment is from Matt Passo. He says, "Great listen. So cool to hear about the origins. So cool to hear about the origins of the Transformers and how much this one really shaped future stories. Also, if John keeps mentioning Sleepwalker, I'm going to have to finally break out my full run and get to reading. I always loved the character design as a kid, but I only think I had a couple of issues back then, but recall next to nothing about them, unfortunately. Maybe it was just a dream, Matt. Maybe."
Sleepwalker's great.
I mean, you got to find Matt on social media. I know he's on the Blue Sky, and maybe y'all can talk some Sleepwalker.
Yeah.
Guys.
The blue sky shine.
Maggie, would you like to read the next comment, please?
From Kevin Clark, it says, "All that talk about putting a bishop's hat on Grimlock and nobody thought to say Dino-Miter?
I feel really...
Is that what a bishop's hat is called?
Yes.
It's called a miter?
I'm a very bad Catholic.
Is that
I
not
feel
some
very
kind of
bad.
saw?
No, just a miter, not a dino-miter.
No, I thought
I didn't. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have heard of a miter saw. I did not know that the bishop's hat was called a miter either. So,
well, there's no end to what you might accidentally learn here, and it might even be true.
So I think Kevin was new to the comments, by the way. I don't remember reading a Kevin Clark before. So welcome to the comments, Kevin. Thank you so much for listening to the show. John, do you want to read the next comment?
From Jim.
From Jim via Spotify. As always, a great episode. Glad the good times continue. 3 exclamation points.
Very emphatic.
So I tried to convey.
No, you did
that
a good
was
job.
3? Okay.
Yep. That's
You did a fantastic job.
I was just going to say Scotty Cameron, also from Spotify, said, "Great episode. Love Pat becoming an acolyte of the Transformers world. Man, Primus is staring me in the face."
Yeah, like we have to give promotions on the show, right? Like I think Maggie's due for a promotion now, right? Because John is now the librarian and Pat is now the acolyte. So I've got to come up with something. If we happen to miss a few, we apologize. It's a good problem to have, but we don't want to forget anyone. Let us know on Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. We will correct it next issue. Ladies, gentlemen, robots, cluds, that's the show. Please come back and join us for the next episode where we discuss Transformers issue 65, where the Matrix quest continues and we get our first look at what the Matrix has been up to in one hell of a cover. If you'd like to hear more from us, the LONGBOX Crusade is in a lot of places. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, most podcatchers to include Spotify, at LONGBOX Crusade. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon. Look for LONGBOX Crusade. You will find us. We have a Crusaders Club on Patreon. Please come and join us. It's only $1 a month. YouTube, you can subscribe to us. You can subscribe to the LONGBOX Crusade. We have original content every month. Do a live stream, come out to play, a New Warriors podcast that I host. And we drop podcast content all the time on YouTube as well. I also want to mention, if you just want to look for Transformers Chronicles, you can find that separately. LONGBOX Crusade, we are blessed with putting out a lot of different shows on the network. And so the feed might update all the time, might be too much for you to handle. We understand that. You can look for just LONGBOX Crusade, even though obviously I highly recommend anything on the LONGBOX Crusade network. There's also a voicemail you can leave us comments on as well. 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick up the phone.
Very nice. You can contact us via email as well at contact@longboxcrusade.com. And John, why don't you tell us about your podcast and where you can be found on the internet?
Maggie and I do Married with Content. That content is, like all content, varied and nerdy, usually. You can find us, turn your podcatcher to that term. Social media-wise, Blue Sky at MWC podcast. That's basically the best place to get us even.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes we do Rod Pod stuff on there. But where we do Transformers Phase 2 stuff in order, but it's been a bit. But we'll be getting back to that soon.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat, where can you be found, sir?
Well, Dylan, I'm glad you asked. You can find me on the X at Christatos01. Where can you be found, Dylan?
I can be found on Threads, Delvin Ray, and Instagram at Delvin Ray also. See you all next time. And remember, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Ooh, Pat and I were on at that time.
Yeah, we were. That sounded good. That sounded good.
John was too early.
From below,
Yeah.
All songs, song clips, and characters discussed are copyright of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended, and it is for entertainment purposes only. We are just fans that like to share our love of comics.